Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. In this video I'm going to teach you how to knit this beautiful neck warmer color of cowl. It's very easy to do. It's for the set with the hat that I did in the last video. They're very easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel. There you will find the English version in there. This set can be made for a boy or a girl, so that depends, and the color depends for whom you're making it. I'm leaving the link here of the hat, just in case you don't see in that video. You're going to see an eye, you click on the eye and it will bring you to the link of to make this neck warmer for the set with the hat. I'm going to use the leftover yarn, and this yarn is Bernat Wool Up Worsted Canadian Heritage Collection. When they're a brand new ball, they are 100 grams, 218 meters, 80% acrylic, 20% wool, medium 4, so you can use any medium 4 yarn. And the color is Dress Blue Heather. You're going to need a round counter to count the round, or a piece of paper with pen or pencil to keep track of your rounds. For the motif, I'm going to use extra marker just to separate my stitches. I'm going to use a measurement tape to measure the length of the neck warmer, just to give to you the measurements when I finish. And my Chia Good circular needle, in the description box below is the link where you can get them. I don't sell them. I just leave that link in there just in case you are new in my channel and you don't have a set like this and you like them. Always in the description box below is the link. This is a great investment because with this set you don't gonna need any other needle, only if you need thicker than 10 millimeter. They come in a set like this and they're amazing. You're gonna need tapestry needle. Something else that you're gonna need is a cable needle to work in those 12 stitches that we're gonna do the stitch of the hat. Before I start casting on my stitches, I wanted to explain a little bit what I'm gonna do the neck warmer. That way, if you wanted to make this bigger, you know where to increase the stitches. So mine will be separated in 20 stitch times 4, those are the 80. So I'm gonna start with a border of 6 stitch, probably 4 or 5 round, around like this, and then I will change to this motif that I'm gonna do. So in row 1 of the motif, I will purl 1, I will knit 12 for 2 repetitions of this motif, and then I will purl 1 and I will do 6 seed stitch. That will be 1 knit, 1 purl, 3 times. That will be 6 stitches. And that repetition you're gonna do it 4 times. That time and 3 more is 4 times. You're gonna do that for the 4th time, 20, 80 stitches. In the second round, you will purl the purl, knit the knit, purl the purl, and then in the C stitch, if you did 1 knit, 1 purl, in this one you will do 1 purl, 1 knit to invert the stitches, and you will repeat that 4 times. And then in round 3, the purl stay purl, but then those 12 stitches will be cable 4 to the back. That's when you start the stitch in here. That you will do that in round 3 and 7. And then the purl stay purl, and the C stitch will stay C stitch, and the C stitch in round 3 will be the repetition of 1. So you have to be changing that. In 1, 3, 5, and so on, it will be exactly the same, the C stitch, and then in the even number, it will be the same. So if you want to increase the amount of stitches, now this is the part that I wanted to explain. For example, if you want it just a little bit bigger, you can add 2 stitches on each 20. So that will be 12 plus 2 purl and 2 purl, that will be 14 stitches, plus the 6, that will be 22 stitches. So you're adding 2 extra on each motif. That will be 2, 4, 6, 88 stitches that you will add. So instead of 80, you will have to do 88. Now if you want this bigger but you don't want to increase in the purl, you want to increase in the C stitch, you can do that as well. You can add 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, as many stitches as you want in this part, but remember you will have to multiply by 4. So if you increase 1, you have to add 4 stitches. If you increase 2 stitches in here, you will have to add 8 stitches. If you increase 3, you have to increase 12. So because 3 and 3 is 6, and 6 and 6, 12, because it's 4 times that you're going to do, and you have to add 1 stitch 4 times, 1 for each space if you're adding in here. And here you have to add 2 because you want to have even amount of stitches in the purl side of the stitch. So I wanted to explain you that just in case you want to increase. But if you want, if you're working with a thicker yarn, or you want to use the same type of yarn but you want to use 6.5 millimeter netting needle, you just do those 80 with a bigger size needle, or a 8 millimeter, or you can use a thicker yarn, thicker needle. But if you want to decrease the size, I recommend to decrease the size of your needle. You'll use a smaller size needle and this will be much smaller. I'm going to start by leaving a tail long enough to cast on 80 stitches. For the hat I did 84 plus 1, but I was working to begin with a smaller size needles, but with this one with 80 plus 1 to close the circumference is enough. I'm going to continue until I have my 81 stitches. Here I have my 81 stitches. I'm going to close the circumference, and you have to make sure that this is not twisted. All of them going in the same direction. So I don't did a knot yet in between the 2 ends here. That way I can close the circumference first. So you're going to pass your first stitch to the right hand needle, and the last stitch you're going to lose the stitch, make it bigger, and pass it over the tip of your needle and cast it off. You're going to pull a little bit these ends. You make the stitch smaller. Now you're going to do a very tight knot between those 2 ends. Very tight. Excuse me. Now you're going to pass that stitch back to your left hand needle. You're going to place your marker or stitch or round counter if you're using one. If you're using just a regular marker, try to put this one different color or different shape as the other one, because this one will mark the beginning and end of the round. I know you have your tail, but as you work it'll be easier for you just to guide yourself. I'm going to start with round 1 with a 6 stitch, and we're going to net 1, purl 1, net 1, purl 1. If you want a double 6 stitch, you can do net 2, purl 2, net 2, purl 2, and then in the next round the 2 net will be purl and the 2 purl will be net. But I like the 1 by 1. So you're going to start with 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, net, and you're going to finish with the purl stitch. I finished round 1 with a purl. You're going to start round 2 with a purl. So you're going to purl 1, net 1, purl 1, net 1. And in the next round, you'll repeat round 1, net 1, purl 1, net 1, purl 1. and 4 you purl 1, net 1, and you will do that 2 round repetition as many times that you will like for your width. Even you can do the entire thing like this. I finished the border. I did 6 rounds. I did 1 more, and it measured a little over 1 inch, 3 centimeters exactly for the border. Now I'm gonna start with round 1 of the motif, and I'm gonna work the 2 repetition at the beginning in Spanish and the next 2 in English. That way it will be much easier for me. I did my 2 first repetition in Spanish. Now I'm gonna work in the next 2 in English. So you're gonna start at the beginner marker. It's exactly the same. You're gonna start with 1 purl, 12 net, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 net. Now you're gonna do 1 purl, to the front of purl, and now you're gonna do the seed stitch. So you're gonna do 1 net, 1 purl, that's 1 repetition of 3, 1 net, 1 purl, that's 2, and 1 net, and 1 purl, that's 3. So if you count your stitches in between marker, you'll have 20 stitches. So this is the marker here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 stitches. You will place the marker, and you'll continue with that repetition. You'll start with 1 purl, 12 nets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You will purl 1, and then you'll do the seed stitch in the next 6 stitches. So you start with net 1 and purl 1, that's 1 repetition, net 1, purl 1, that's 2, and net 1 and purl 1, and that is 3 repetition. And you will place a marker and continue doing that until you finish at the end, and then you're gonna work in round 2. I'm gonna start round 2. Already did these 2 repetitions in Spanish, so you're gonna start exactly the same. The only thing that changed is the position of the stitches in the seed stitch. So you're gonna start with a purl, 12 nets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I place the hat underneath, that way these don't make too much noise. So 12, yarn to the front of purl, and now you're gonna work in the 6th stitch. So in the round before you start with a net, now you start with a purl. So you're gonna purl 1, net 1, purl 1, net 1, purl 1, and net 1. You pass your marker, and again you start 1 purl, 12 net stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. You're gonna purl 1, and now the 6th stitch again. 1 purl, 1 net. This from there. 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and 1 net. You're gonna pass the marker, and you're gonna continue with the repetition till the end. Now we're gonna work in round 3. And in round 3 you will work like round 1, except in the 12 stitches that we're going to start the cable. So in round 3 and 7, in those 12 stitches you do cable, otherwise it will stay 12 net. And the other thing that changed is the 6th stitch, that you alternate from row 1 and 2. In row 1 you did 1 net 1 purl, and then in 2 you did 1 purl 1 net. In 3 now you'll do 1 net 1 purl, and 4 a purl and a net. So it's very easy to keep track of what you're doing. So now we're gonna start in round 3, and we're gonna do some cables. So in 3 you're gonna start with a purl. Now yarn to the back, net 2, capable 4 to the back. So you pass 2 stitches to the back, net 2, and net those 2 stitches in the cable needle. And that is 6 stitches, so I have to do that repetition one more time. So you're gonna net 2, and now you're gonna cable to the back 2, and then the next 2, another 2, and the cable needle. Now you will purl 1, and 6 stitch. So in here is like row 1 or round 1, net 1, purl 1, net 1, purl 1. So you're gonna net the purl and purl the nets, and purl 1. You're gonna pass your marker, and you're gonna do the repetition again. So again you're gonna purl 1, knit 2, cable 4B, so cable 4 to the back. So when they say cable 4 to the back, means that you have to divide the next 4 in half and do a cable. And the first 2 stitches you will bring them to the back, and the next 2 you will knit here in the front of that cable needle, and then you will work these 2 on the cable needle. And that's 1 repetition of 2. You will knit 2 and cable 4 to the back, and you press those 2 on the back, knit 2, 1 and 2, knit those 2 in the cable needle, and you've done those 12 stitches. You're gonna purl 1, and now you're gonna do the C stitches, and the C stitches in this round is knit 1, purl 1. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and knit 1 and purl the last stitch, and like that you'll continue in the repetition of round 3. Now I'm gonna work in round I finished 4. Round 3, and round 4 is the repetition of round 2, and round 5 is the repetition of 1, round 6 is the repetition of 2, round 7 we're gonna do a cable round again, and then round 8 will be the repetition of 2. So except for those 12 stitches in round 3 and 7, the rest stay as a repetition of 1 and 2, although a number will be like round 1 and all the even number like round 2. But remember, in 3 and 4 those 12 stitches, so I'm going to work a repetition of 2, and you're going to start with 1 purl, 12 knits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 purl, and the C stitch. So the repetition of the C stitch in round 2 is 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, and 1 purl and 1 knit. And you pass your marker, and you will do the repetition again. I finished round 4 and 5. You're going to do repetition of 1, and then 1 you purl 1 again, and then you knit 12, four, 5, 6, 8, 11, and 12. You will purl 1, and then the C stitch in round 1 is 1 knit, 1 purl. one knit, one purl, one knit, and one purl. And like that you're going to continue for round 5. Now in round 6 I will show you that is the repetition. I finished round 5. Now in 6 we're going to do the repetition of 2. So you're going to start with a purl and now 12 knit. All the rows are pretty much the repetition of 1 and 2. That the only thing that changed in between those 2 rounds is the C stitch. In round 3 and 7 they're the one that you change the C stitch around as well, but you change the cable as well. It's not the same in 3 and 7. So the rest stay exactly the same, those round 1 and 2 repetition. It's a very easy and very pretty design. So you're gonna knit 12, and 11 and 12, and now you're gonna purl 1 and then the C stitch, and you start with 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl, and you'll finish with the knit, and then you start again with 1 purl and then 12 knit, and so on. So finish this round 6 and I will meet you here to show you how you're going to work in 7. Now we're going to work on round 7 and we're going to use the cable needle. You're going to start with 1 purl. Now we want to work on the cable, and the cable in 3 and 4 are different. In 3 you start with 2 knit and then you do the cable with the 2 stitches to the back, and in 7 you start with the cable with 2 stitches to the front. You're gonna pass 2 to the front, and you're gonna knit 2. Pass those 2 stitches back, and here if you want to pass them, or you can work from the cable needle, and you knit those 2, and then you knit 2 more, and those are 6 stitches, 1 and 2, and you do the repetition 1 more time. 2 stitch to the front and the cable needle, you're gonna knit 2, knit the 2 and the cable needle, and if you want to knit them from the cable needle, you can do that as well, like so. 1 and 2, you knit 2, yarn to the front and purl 1, and now you're going to work in the C stitch, and in 7 the C stitch is the repetition of the C stitch in 1. So you're going to start with 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, and 1 purl, and then you're gonna start with those 20 stitch repetitions. So again, oops, you're gonna purl 1, yarn to the back for your cable, you're gonna pass the two first stitches to the cable needle, and I secure the cable needle there, that way my stitches don't fall off. And knit two, knit the two from the cable needle, and that's 4 stitches for the cable plus 2 more knit. And that's why this stitch is multiple of 6, because you do the cable with 4 and then you have to have 2 knit in order to move them around. So again, you're gonna cable to the front, pass 2 stitches to the front, knit 2, knit the 2 from the cable needle, and the next 2. Now these 2. You're gonna purl 1, and then the C stitch, and the C stitch is here. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and purl 1, knit 1, and purl 1. And like that you're going to continue in round 7. Now I'm going to work in round 8, and round 8 is the repetition of round 2. So it's very easy pattern to follow, because those are the 8 round repetition that you're going to do over and over. So for 8, you're going to purl 1, knit 12, I'm going to say knit 8, but knit 12, that's why you have to keep track of the round, that way you know when to do the cable. That's 12, purl 1, and now you're going to do the C stitch, and in here you start with a purl and a knit, like that. It's a very easy and very pretty pattern to do. And I will meet you here at the end of this round. Here I finished those 8 round repetitions that you're going to do over and over until you have the desired length. Remember, you had to do the C stitch at the end. So for mine it will be 6 round C stitch at the end. So this is for William. I don't want this to be too long, that will gather too much around his neck. So I'm going to do 2 more, the repetition of the motif, and then I will measure it, and I will let you know if that with 3 is enough for this size, because I still have to do the 6 round of C stitch at the end. So I'm gonna work off camera, and then I will let you know the length that I will give to mine. I've been leaving here each round repetition that you have to do, so you can write that down in a piece of paper or go back to the video, and then you can continue working those 8 round repetitions. So I have to do 4 repetitions of the motif because 3 was too narrow. So now I'm gonna do the C stitch, and you're gonna start with 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl. So you started with a knit, and you're going to finish with the purl, and then in the next round you're going to start with the purl and you'll finish with the knit, and you're going to continue those 2 round repetitions until you have the width or the same amount of round that you did at the beginning. After that, I will meet you here to cast off or bind off. I finished that last round. Now I'm going to bind off or cast off the stitches, and I'm going to work them as I supposed to work the stitch. So the first one is a pearl, and the second one is a net, and I'm gonna pass the pearl over the net and cast it over. The next one is a pearl. I'm gonna pass the second stitch over and off. The next one is a net, and cast that one off, and like that you're gonna continue all the way until the end. Well, I finished the neck warmer or collar or cowl and it look amazing. It measures 7 inches 18 centimeters, and I still have a little bit left of yarn. So with one ball I did the hat and this neck warmer, the set, and it's really nice and warm because I have a blend of wool and acrylic. It's no scratchy or itchy, it's nice and soft. It's the perfect blend, and William will be very warm for school. So I hope you guys like it, and give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And if you make this beautiful set and you want to send me some pictures, you can do it through my Facebook page Ruby Net Crochet Tejido or my Instagram Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family, that way you help me grow here in YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.